the biggest problem with us human beings is culturally we are told that we don't have the prostitute within us. We don't have Ravana within us. We don't have Kamsa. We are all very good. We don't have Kamsa. We don't have transgenders within us. No, this is wrong because we have all characters within us. It's just that few are dormant and few are active. It is about being aware of those characters, just connecting with that character, empathizing with the character in society. That is why I say dance and theatre is a society. So you empathize, connect with that character without judging. First step is to drop judging. Stop judging anything. Connect with them. Be a part of that character. You will find that that character is also, that margin is also there. You are also feeling. And then when you begin to accept that character within yourself and you start expressing it, it will change you as a person. Believe me. Whether you become Amitabh Bachchan or Nṛtta, I can't say. But as a person, it will change you and it will make you part of society. It will make you so happy because there is no more judgment. You will understand that all of us are breathe the same. So the trick is to connect with every sector person without judgment. That will work.
What aspect of Indian classical dance interests you the most was the question. And the first technical precision, Nṛtta, is 13% people have opted for that option. About 65% have selected Abhinaya, which is expressive storytelling, and about 22% have selected cultural history and philosophy. So that tells us a lot that the expressive storytelling part does connect with the audiences a lot.
Yeah. So can I respond to that?
Please.
Yeah, Anusha has asked me a sticky question. I'll first reply to that. Anusha, Nṛtta Ratnavali, Sangeeta Ratnakara, the texts when they talk about Perini Natyam, the description of the Perini Natyam that is in the text is a little different from what is performed today. It is more a Hasya Rasa Pradhana. There is more of, it's meant for comedy in the text. But what is done today is more of a Veera Rasa. But maybe you should go to the makers of Perini Natyam and ask them what made them create both. I'm sure they did that. Yeah. Now, coming to this Abhinaya part, this is something I must tell all the audiences. Okay, I'll give you an example. I learned the Devadasi Nṛtta. I learned the Kalavantula dance. Kalavantulu are the Devadasis of coastal Andhra. That's what they're called differently in different areas. And in Andhra, coastal Andhra, they're called Kalavantulu. I come from those families. So the Kalavantulu are known for their Abhinaya. Abhinaya is their forte. In fact, Mezwani Abhinaya is what the elders here would know about. But when I started learning this from my guru, Nṛtta, for a few years, she made me do a grueling Nṛtta practice. Grueling is not the word. You sit, you stand, you sit, jump, take a circle in air, sit, stand, jump, take a circle. This has to be done 40 times. And I was already 40 by that time. But she didn't care. You have to do the whole grueling Nṛtta practice. And after the Nṛtta, she'll say, put an Abhinaya part. Sit down and we do Abhinaya. And I'm like, if we had to do Abhinaya, why did I do that? I could have sat and done Abhinaya. And she said, no, Abhinaya will not flow through the body then. Abhinaya has to come through the body even without moving it. Yeah, without having to, just the stance also the Abhinaya has to be created. And that will happen only when the body is completely fit and warm. Then otherwise, your Abhinaya will only be neck-length. It will only be face. Yeah, like most of the time you do see, you think it is Abhinaya, it is not. It is expression. So let me give you an example. The heroine is telling the friend, Krishna has sent this friend saying, I'm sorry, please ask her to come. And this lady is done and dusted with him. So she says, what? He sent you. I'm not a great singer, but he's good. He sent you as a messenger. Tell him I'm not. So, Rayabara Mampinata, Ranu Rano Yanukote. I have not come. So, it was, if I have to do it with hastas, Rayabara Mampinata, Ranu all these are the hastas, okay? But when I do all these hastas, my Devadasi Guru she'll just look at me and say, are you doing exercise? Enduku Sam enduku chestunnava? Samu is exercise. So she'll say, Sam enduku chestunnava? So I'm not supposed to do that. I'm supposed to be able to communicate all that through the body itself. So so even the shift of the body, you see the difference? So through the body, that Abhinaya that you like so much has to have so much physical exercise and Nṛtta that goes into it for you to appreciate. Yeah. And in that somebody said cultural history. I'm so happy because somehow Indian dances, particularly classical dances, they're all like, I can say, where there is no, you don't think as to what is the source, what is happening. My husband says this, don't ever do this. You know, what is the source? What is the history you're carrying over your body? Nobody thinks about it. I'm so glad it's changing.
Now I'm going to unmute a participant to allow them to ask a question.
Namaskar, ma'am. You stated that we can travel the audience to a plane where the performer and the audience are left. We do this in dance, you stated that. But how could we incorporate this into theatre while performing on stage? Because what I do every time is remind me every day that I should do Abhinaya as I'm living it, and while performing on stage, I should live it. So I need more points that I can incorporate into my theatre art, traveling the audience into a momentary play.
So I don't want to sound like a Babaji or something, but I tell you what I think from my experience itself. There is this rasa theory that Dr.Yasodha talks about, where they say you have to get out of yourself and get into the character and into the character, which I'm not very convinced by. Yeah, but for theatre, it does. I don't know your name, but I just want to say that the first step for us is to accept that we have all characters within us. The biggest problem with us beings is culturally we are told that we don't have the prostitute within us. We don't have Ravana within us. We don't have Kamsa. We are all lyric. We don't have Kamsa. We don't have transgenders with us. No, this is wrong. Because we have all characters within us. It's just that few are dormant and few are active. It is about being aware of those characters, just connecting with that character, empathizing with the character in society. That is why I say dance and theatre is a society. So you empathize, connect with that character without judging. First step is to drop judging. Stop judging anything. Connect with them. Be a part of that character. You will find that that character is also, that margin is also there. You are also feeling. And then when you begin to accept that character within yourself and you start expressing it, it will change you as a person. Believe me. Whether you become Amitabh Bachchan or not, I can't say. But as a person, it will change you and it will make you a part of society. It will make you so happy because there is no more judgment. You will understand that all of us have breathed the same. So the trick is to connect with every accepted person without judgment. That will work.
Thank you so much.
I'm going to bring up a question by Miss Archana. Ma'am, can you give us some tips to improve on Lasya while coexisting with Shringara?
First of all, Archana, this huge stigma that we have against Shringara, throw it out of the way. Just take it and throw it out. Because Shringara love bodily love, mental love is so important for you, for many creatures. And Shringara is where all other emotions come. From there coming all other. First step is to uninhibitedly accept that you are a person who loves, who has desire. I'm not saying you have, how shall I say this? You have to wear revealing clothes and that is being bold. No, if you want to, please wear. That and Shringara have nothing. Shringara is, and I don't wear Western clothes because I don't like them, but because I can't take anything that sticks to the body. So I can't wear those chains. That's the only reason I wear Western clothes. But I am the most radical Shringara Abhinaya artist you can see. Because there are songs where the artist is saying, one round of lovemaking and you're tired. What kind of lovemaking is this, Krishna? Okasarike ilaga idete, oho, ideti radha. What kind of lovemaking is this? The world says you're a big romantic hero, and this is all you are capable of, is what she says. So I do those songs. First of all, be radical. Accept yourself and let that manifest in the body. So if you have to do, or if you have to do this, do it. Let not your culturing, from culturing. Let not that culturing make you do just this. If you have to do this, do it. Let the body bring it. And then it will come. Give it more, and then the body will tell you, okay, this much. My body wants to do this.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Shivkumar wants to know more about the connection between ancient visual arts and traditional dance.
Visual arts, I will talk about sculpture, sir. So there are people who believe that the sculpture, particularly Odissi, okay. There are people who believe that the sculptures on temples are inspiration from the Vedas. But the Stapatis or the architects don't agree. They don't say it is connected with the dancing of the temple. And I agree with them because in the temple, what the dancer did, it was not particularly sensual. When it was connected to the ritual, the ritualistic dance was very formal and minimal dance. It's just that her presence was necessary. The female body and that body was necessary to harness the energies of the universe and pass them on to the body. To the deity. So that was her purpose of her existence. So when it comes to sculpture, but then coming later to the neoclassical dance of Odissi, the Odissi that we see now is not the same as the Mahari dance, that of the day. The Odissi that we see now has been framed and has been curated based on the sculpture. So we cannot connect the two. And I don't connect the dance, the Devadasi and the sculpture. Paintings, Rajasthani paintings, they're all Mughal inspired paintings, so they are inspired by Kathak, no doubt about it. And yeah, painting, depends on what paint and at what time. It also depends historically. So when we go, like I said, with Odissi, the older sculptures were not connected to the Devadasi, but the later dance is connected to the sculpture. So it's not as if the sculpture is made of the dance. Even today, and I myself, when I go to Hampi and I see a particular pose, I see that pose and I say, I can use this in future. So am I contributing to the sculpture or has the sculpture contributed to the dance? So now I think it's more from the sculpture to.
Thank you. Moving on to the next one. There's a question by Mr. Hari Krishnan. How Nṛtta and Abhinaya connects our mind spiritually to connect ourselves with the universe.
Now, exactly what I didn't want to do in the talk. But then, depends on what you call spirituality, sir. Mr. Hari Krishna. For me, this is very, very raw. So when we do these songs, when I am dancing Akshetraya Patam, there are different songs that I danced. There is Swagatam Krishna, Saranagam Krishna, where we say, I surrender to you, Krishna. And in the choreography, my teacher has been very beautifully talking of his leelas, and in the end, she surrenders to him. Then there is also the Kshetraya Patam, where she says, listen, Krishna, it's been so long since you came. Now you have come be with you. I want to be one with you. For me, both are spiritual and both give me the joy. So, and both I feel the joy in the body. If I didn't have this body, how would I feel it? Yeah, so I don't need to get, because they say there's no body. This body is so important. Through this body, that joy, that moment, what we call climax. Climax happens to me when I'm dancing these, when I feel that feeling sits in every cell of the body. I feel that is spiritual. That joy is spiritual. So it doesn't have to be drama. It can be Rama. It can be just anything. So how does Abhinaya and dance feed you to spirituality? By delving into it and letting the body soak that emotion completely. Even if it is Kamsa that you're portraying, become that Kamsa completely and bring it to us.
A question by Geeta ma'am. How is Vilasini Natyam different from this?
So Vilasini Natyam is a dance form that's been named by Swapna and Shri Andhra said. Vilasini Natyam is also based on the Kalavantula dance. It also has, she has done extensive research, Mrs. Swapna, and she has brought in those songs and she named it Vilasini. The Devadasis themselves don't call it. They don't say this. In fact, they call it Bharatanatyam. So Bharatanatyam being called Bharatanatyam by Devi, I said it's not true. It was called Bharatanatyam, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Coastal Andhra, everywhere. It's just that it's been taken as dance form by Devi at the Madras Music Academy. Now, that's one thing. Vilasini Natyam is something, it's a more recent nomenclature. The Devadasis themselves don't call it that, but that's a name that Swapnaka has, I have learned it. That's a name that she has given to the form that she has written, which is majorly based on what the Devadasis do, the Kadam. Yeah, it is not different. It's just that when I dance it, I go into the social-political history, the power, caste, class politics of it, the gender politics of it, and I see the repertoire as a reflection of all of the society that they lived in, as a reflection of gender politics, and through that I understand the politics of all other dance forms and society. It is not just a dance form for me, whereas Vilasini Natyam, as I see it, is a dance. Very beautiful, well-structured, framed dance.
I have a question by Ms. Aishwarya. Namaskaram. Thank you so much for sharing your understanding and analysis with us. What is the criteria for classifying dances as Margi and Desi? I'm curious because I understand classical or Margi forms are also influenced by regional and cultural practices. I'm sorry if I misspelled anything.
Oh, no, that was perfect. You are absolutely right. That's what they said, right? When all indigenous regional practices contribute to what is today floated as the industry products of classical dances. And then we forget about what created the dance forms. That is a huge problem. By doing that, we are rendering so many indigenous art forms and artists invisible, and their livelihood takes a hit. So many cultures take a hit. So many activities like singing during Simantam, when the lady is pregnant, all those practices go away. Anyway, what is the criteria? Okay, now Sangeet Natak Academy is an organization that's in Delhi. Sangeet Natak Academy at that time had recognized a few dance forms as major dance forms. Now they say traditional dance art forms. But for a very long time, it was commonly understood that they were classical dance forms. And this was recognized on the basis of, and Kapila Vatsayana writes about it. It's not my own analysis. Kapila Vatsayana writes about it, saying that when the Natya Shastra, elements of Natya Shastra are seen in a dance form, they will be recognized as classical dance forms. Okay. So in this frenzy for classical status, a few regional dance forms have imbibed a few of the Natya Shastra and said, hey, we also have Natya Shastra to do as a classical status. So you have to appreciate Karnataka for that, because Yakshagana dancers said, no, we don't want the classical status. We don't want it because then you will ask us to sing in a particular way, you will ask us to do the few hastas. We don't want to do all that. Even if you're not giving us money, we don't. So,
Thank you for that reply. I come from families that do kolas, puta kolas. And thank you for that. Okay, there's a question by Miss Pooja. For me as a beginner, how to be sure of which classical dance form will help me express my inner self? I have started to develop interest in Kathak, but then I also feel inclined to Bharatanatyam.
Nana, both of them are, the technique is completely different. Bharatanatyam, you go towards gravity and bend. Kathak, you just stand straight. So you have to choose one. At least for 10 years, don't do it. One form. Kathak is a beautiful dance. Do Kathak. And do Kathak is the very old dance. Lucknow, Pune, Bengal still have the Baijis and the Tabais. So after you learn for a while, go to them. After you learn, 5-6 years you learn to take Kathak and then go to them. They teach you lyrics.
Thank you. The next question is from Mr. Kosalapudi Suresh Krishna. Namaskaram, ma'am. Give some info about Sanchari Bhavas and when it implements in performance.
So, Sanchari Bhavas, I know we have a whole list of 33 Sanchari Bhavas with the dance and carnival. But these Sanchari Bhavas are like catalysts, right? They come and they go. It's like you are doing a very intense Karuna Rasa, very intense. Okay, there is this scene where Kichaka has all these, by the way, are more into theatre, which we dancers have appropriated, but that's okay. And we've appropriated them into your classical dances. But there is Draupadi who's being molested by Kichaka, and she runs from him. She runs into the court, and she asks the king, your brother-in-law is molesting me. I have no safety. Protect me. And then the king can't do anything because he has no power. Then Yudhishthira stands up with his guys and he says, stop the drama and go to your chamber. So in all her anger and sorrow, first of all, she's crying, she's scared, she's angry that they're not doing anything about it. She looks at Yudhishthira and she says, what? Drama? And she goes in. She just does that. And so here at this point, it has not turned into Hasya Rasa. It is still Karuna Rasa. It is still Karuna. And she just, what? And she goes in. So this thing which is coming and going to strengthen the Karuna Rasa, this Karuna becomes a bit stronger by that little smile that she has. So this Sanchari has to come naturally. But this natural thing will come when the character becomes you. When will the character become you? It will not become you by practice, it will not become you just by observation, but if you are willing to understand that you have that character. That character is there. Embrace it, manifest it.
Ricardo asks, as a Kuchipudi student from Mexico, I come from a very different cultural background, and this often makes me feel like an outsider to the world of Abhinaya. I wonder how someone like me can approach or come closer to good expression in Abhinaya without merely imitating. How can a foreign student work towards something that feels authentic, even when the cultural references and the emotional codes are not their own?
Ricardo, first of all, you're a beautiful dancer. I've seen your pictures. Okay. Second thing is, don't westernize yourself, get into the Mexican culture, the food, the Mexican food, Mexican culture. There's indigenous cultures like my Abhinaya. You won't get that expression unless you come to my village, sit here and that curd rice that you have to eat that curd rice. I've turned vegetarian but she's a non-vegetarian. So she says, no, you have to eat this chicken for you to get that curd rice. To get that expression. So by food, I don't mean just food, literally. I just mean, Ricardo, first of all, emotions are the same across the world. Whether it is Mexico or it's all the same. And when we are doing Kshetra, see that's what happens when you deify characters. You make them human. Then you connect with them at human level. Your expression will be as you would react to it. Right? So why do you think rolling the eyes is such a wisdom? But if you can set up the whole expression as a Western dancer, dancing is emotions. What's wrong about doing the rolling? But again, if you are going to do, and then again suddenly in between you're going to roll the eyes, then for the audience it becomes jarring. Yeah, you take a stand and you do the same pada, the human emotions, without inhibition, accepting yourself as, and then you bring that emotion. Come home, Becca. Let's do this. I live in Hyderabad. Come home and work on just one pada. From there you can take it forward.
Thank you very much.
This is something I can't tell you.
Yes, I totally understand. Thank you very much for your insight.